arriving to get my booster shot, which I'm very excited about. I'm a little bit nervous about side effects because obviously I have a lot to get done in the next couple of days, but I really wanted to get the shot before this event since I'm going to be inside with other people, and didn't want to do it like the day before the event instead in case I'm feeling kind of crappy after that. So hoping for the best. I didn't really have any side effects with the shots when I got the first 2 doses. So I am crossing my fingers that that is the case for my booster as well. It's gonna be a pretty hectic week this week because this Sunday is the Dandy Market, which is a market I've been preparing for pretty much all month. Dandy is the name of a vintage store and wedding venue in Wauwatosa, which is just outside of Milwaukee. And they've got the most amazing space. I love that they're using it for this reason. The owners are so great. They really just want to help local businesses spread the word about themselves, make more money, and so the entry fee is very, very reasonable. I'm excited. I have no idea what to expect in terms of turnout. I've never been to one of their events before, but I'm hoping because it's the weekend after Thanksgiving, I know people are in the mood to sort of spend and get their holiday gifts. I'm feeling very optimistic about it. But I also have a lot of stuff to get ready before then. I have a lot of candles to make. I am also trying to get ready for the whole like Small Business Saturday launch of my holiday collection. So I need inventory not only for the market, but also just for orders that I'm hoping come in on Small Business Saturday. So because I'm launching the new collection, I need to get product photos. I talked about this last week. I think I kept waiting for like a sunny day to get the kind of photos that I wanted, and it just didn't work. So I'm thinking I might have to rephotograph everything, which is not ideal, but I'm trying this corner in our attic that we've refinished recently, hoping that it's good light, but it just didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to. It felt like, I don't know, it just didn't have much ambiance. It didn't quite go with the rest of the website, so unfortunately, that was a scratch. I'm gonna move on to wrapping soap. Wrapping soaps is just another one of those time-consuming tasks that has to happen. I'm hoping at the beginning of the year after the holiday season, when I have a little bit of downtime, I can maybe brainstorm a way for this to happen a little bit more quickly, because obviously anything that takes up a good chunk of time without a direct return on investment of that time is something I want to try and make more efficient. But at the moment, it's just me. There's only so much I can do right now, so I'm getting these soaps wrapped and ready for the sale and the market. Also finished one of my candles that I was testing, and I'm playing around with how to get that remaining wax that is left when the candle's done, as well as the wick clip and the wick sticker out of this container so that I can reuse it. I want to know the best way to do that, not only for myself because I reuse these containers for like little storage things, but also just for my customers so that I can recommend the best way to do it. It's a little bit more eco-friendly if you can offer a way for your containers to be reused as opposed to just going in the trash. So the first method I'm trying is using my heat gun to melt the remaining wax. First of all, I know not everybody has a heat gun. Some people use hair dryers. It's either way, I'm realizing as I'm doing it that it is a really inefficient way of doing it. Like it's just, I melt a little bit, and then I pour it down the sink, which I don't know if I'm supposed to do that or not, whatever. And then I come back and I melt a little bit more, pour a little bit more down the sink. It's just really slow, so it's not something I'd want to recommend to other people. So I'm taking the wax that's left and I'm putting them in the freezer, because that was the other tip I had heard, that if you put the container in the freezer for a little while, that it's easier to get the wax out that way. So I'm gonna put it in the freezer and let it freeze overnight and see if that works. So stay tuned. I'm now getting some labels on my winter rose candles. Everybody always asks me to pick a favorite fragrance of any line, and I can't. Obviously, I like all of them. I picked them. And they're all so different that it's really hard to pick a favorite fragrance. But I will say secretly that the winter rose label is my favorite label, at least at this point. I like all of them. They're all so beautiful, but this flower print that I found for the labels of the winter rose candles, I just love it. It makes me happy, and I'm kind of sad that it's a holiday scent because I'm gonna miss it when it's gone. As you can see, I am just churning out as many candles as I can. I have figured out my recipe for a batch of 10 candles at a time, which at the moment is pretty much all I can manage just because I don't have a lot of space to set up the empty containers. I've also moved from doing a double boiler method, which is what I started off with testing the candles, where you put like a metal pouring pitcher into a pot of water and boil the water. That's how you can do it for like a smaller batch of candles. But now that I'm doing these bigger batches of 10s, I've moved on to something called a Presto pot. It's kind of like a crock pot a little bit, but a lot of candle makers use them because it melts the wax so quickly, like a significant amount of wax. It melts really fast. So it really speeds up the process, which is amazing. And it can also maintain a temperature pretty well. So if you're making, maybe you're melting the wax for 2 separate batches of candles, and you pour out the wax you need for one batch, and you need the other batch's wax to stay that temperature until you're ready to move on to that. It's really good for that sort of thing. So far it's been amazing. I've had a great experience with it. I don't have the right setup for it. Like, you really need to have it like propped up so that you can use the spout to pour right into the pouring pitcher. And I do not have that. So it's still a little clunky the way that I'm using it, but that's just my fault. It's nothing against the Presto pot. I'm starting off today trimming the wicks from the candles I made yesterday. And I have to say, this is another thing. Same as my soap labels, this is another thing I need to figure out how to do better. This is such a pain. A wooden wick, as much as I love my wooden wicks, they are way harder to trim than a cotton, a small cotton wick. So these wick trimmers that I have, you really have to muscle through the wick, and sometimes it ends up splintering. It ends up cracking the top of the wax, so I have to take a heat gun to them after I've trimmed them so that they can resettle and smooth out. It's another thing that when I am hopefully making bigger batches, it's just not going to be an option because it's going to take too long, and it's going to cut down on my margins because the amount of labor it takes to do all of this is just not worth it. So I'm going to have to brainstorm ways to, I'm thinking maybe pre-cut the wicks, find out exactly how long I need each wick in the candle, and then find a way to pre-trim them much more efficiently, because this is driving me crazy and also giving me a hand cramp. So bad news all around. I'm also making more lip balms today. I have figured out my recipe for about 20 lip balms at a time, which is great because getting that many made is just making me feel a lot better about the inventory I have going into this weekend of online sales and market sales. So I'm very excited about these, and getting their labels on, just seeing the finished product, the smells of each of these flavors in the lip balms is just, I'm very excited about it. I can't wait for people to see them and use them and smell them because they smell great. So I've got to figure out how I'm gonna display them at the market, but I'm feeling good about that. I'm not gonna lie, I am feeling pretty overwhelmed with everything I need to get done over the next few days. Tomorrow is obviously Thanksgiving, and then my kids are off of school and daycare on Friday. So there's not a lot of time for me to get things done over the next couple of days, and then Saturday is the launch of the new collection online. So I am starting the day the best way I can when I'm feeling this way, which is just write down everything I can think of that I need to do. And I'm breaking it down into like really basic steps, like make this type of candle, not just make candles. So I'm doing kind of a brain dump to hopefully just settle my nerves a little bit and allow me to focus in on like what's the next thing I can do. So I'm just making progress instead of procrastinating because I'm so overwhelmed, which is something I do all the time. And it's not helpful when you're the only employee of your entire business. First thing on the list is to make more lip balms. I'm feeling like if I can just get all the lip balms made and labeled, that momentum will help me feel better about the rest of the things I have to do. And it's a pretty simple thing to tackle first. So I'm making more lip balms and popping them in the fridge, pulling them out, making sure all the tops look good. And yeah, I'm thinking I might need a new, there are those pancake batter funnels that I think it's called a piston funnel. I don't know. I might be totally making that up, but I'm sure someone's shouting at this video right now that's watching it that knows the answer. But I think a piston funnel might help me just more accurately pour these in. It's especially the first couple of ones that I pour when I've got like a full container of the mixture. It's a little questionable. Like I'm always nervous I'm just gonna dump it all off to the side. So I think I need a better tool for this, but as of right now, it's going pretty well. I've only had a few spills and it hasn't affected production that much. I'm also labeling my Palo Santo candles. If you'll notice on the website, there's a candle for every holiday fragrance except for cedar and myrrh. I wanted to test a year-round candle fragrance, and Palo Santo, this fragrance oil smells so good. I can't get over it, and I really wanted to introduce it because I wanted to get feedback on it to know if it's something that would have longevity for being available year-round. But since it is sort of a woodsy fragrance already, I didn't really want to also be offering cedar and myrrh. It just felt like overkill. And because I am kind of crunched for time, I decided to not do any cedar and myrrh candles and instead do the Palo Santo and see how they do and whether I'm going to continue to carry it the rest of the year. So here we are on Thanksgiving Day. I'm starting off the morning, my husband's taking the kids, and I am unfortunately having to use artificial light to get these product photos. I just did not get a sunny day the way I was hoping for. It's just been like sometimes sunny, sometimes cloudy, not enough light for what I need. So I'm having to use an artificial light to get as close to the look as possible. And then I'll do some editing on the finished photos to hopefully get them to look as similar to the original product photos as possible. But it is kind of a bummer. This was not what I was hoping for, and it's another thing that I'm adding to my list of things that I need to figure out when I have some downtime about how to kind of redo this aesthetic moving forward so that it's easier to replicate no matter what the external circumstances are. And today I'm mostly taking the day off. I am driving out to near my hometown to see a couple of girlfriends who I haven't seen in a really long time and have exciting news that we're all celebrating. And then as soon as I get back, my husband's brother and sister-in-law will be in town and we're gonna go out to dinner with them. So I had to just make peace with the fact that this day was a wash in terms of getting things done. And I'm just gonna really have to hustle over the weekend and get as ready for this event as possible.